What up, guys? It's the Iron Monk. I'm here with Ethan from Strong Anatomy. He's an osteopath and anatomy teacher. Today we're going to break down all the cues that I like to give my clients and that other trainers like to give you guys. There'll be some that you might have heard before, some that you may have not. Either or, we're going to really break them down and really get you guys understanding why we say these things to you. The first one is grab the ground with your foot. Why do we say that, Ethan?
So grabbing the ground with the foot, hey guys. So a lot of the time when people start to squat or even deadlift or do anything where you're transferring force through the ground up through your body, what you actually want to do is prepare the feet, like prepare the muscles to receive it. Like you don't just naturally do any movement without preparing your body. So you need to posture your body. And part of grabbing the ground with your feet is posturing your foot, bracing and almost grabbing the ground so that the muscles in your feet are ready to kind of activate, because once the feet muscles activate, it's kind of like remember the bone song? Ankle bone's connected to the knee bone's connected to the hip bone. Once the feet are prepared, then the legs prepared. Once the legs prepared, the thighs prepared, and so on.
There you go, there you go. And I know I had a problem with my foot a couple of weeks ago, and Ethan come down and broke me down to pieces. One was my big toe not being engaged, right? Can you give me a little bit more explanation on what that was and what was happening with my foot?
Yeah, of course, man. So some of the things with Deandres, he's like a really big, fit guy anyway. But one of the things is like he hasn't spent a little, like maybe some time with his feet, getting to know the toe muscles, how to splay the toes, how to bring up his arch. So we spent a little bit of time exploring where he feels a little bit stiff in his foot, how to break that tissue open, or just pretty much loosen his foot enough that he can actually use it and shape the foot. The foot has maybe 30 different muscles that are acting on it to create a different shape in it, and that's all it is.
Beautiful. That's it, mate. So the next cue I like to give my clients is screw the ground with your foot. Why do we say this, Ethan?
So screwing the ground with your feet, what Deandre is talking about is twisting the feet out, kind of like this, once the feet are planted on the ground, twisting them out. And what it starts to create naturally is it brings your arch off the ground. So the arch in your foot naturally starts to pick up off the ground, and at the same time creates external rotation of the tibia, which allows for the next prompt for your knees to start coming out anyway.
There you go, easy as that. Now the next squat cue, we've got knees out. You might have heard lots of trainers say this. It can kind of be detrimental at the same time, I think. So we're gonna actually break it down why we push our knees out and what actually happens if we push our knees out too far. What's going on there?
Yeah, so it's kind of coming off that second point with the screw the ground, where you're wanting your feet to create a twist so that the arch comes off the ground and that your knees naturally start to come out to the sides. Why that's important is that if we're standing with our feet just close together, or let's say feet about shoulder width apart, if I squat and my knees just go forward and my hips go back, I naturally fold over like a pretzel. I just like fold like a stack of cards.
Yeah.
We don't want to fold like a stack of cards when we're squatting, especially with 100, 200 kilograms on our back.
Yeah, no thank you.
So you want to be able to hold a position like this and just lean forward just a little bit.
Yep.
The knees out to the sides will allow you to drop without folding over.
Beautiful. Well done. And if we were to push our knees out too far, what's that about?
So you naturally, when you pull the knees out too far to the side, what it's going to do is it's naturally going to pick the inside of your foot, that grab the ground?
Yep.
It's going to start to let go of the ground.
Okay.
So you push the knees out too far, your foot lets go of the ground, and you'll tip onto the side of your foot.
And you're losing that arch.
And you're losing the arch.
Yeah.
And you're losing control.
Yeah, okay. All right, sweet. And in terms of the next cue that we've got, knees over toes. Now, there's a common misconception, years ago that, your knees can't go over your toes. You got to make sure your knees are back, push your weight on your heels, etc. You may have heard it if you're old enough to be around in those era. Why did we use that cue? And why do we not use that cue anymore?
Man, to be honest, to think of, first of all, I don't know why that cue came about necessarily, but I think it was to save your balance or something to do with your center of gravity.
Okay.
But it's kind of debunked. It doesn't make a lot of sense because your foot naturally, when you're planting your foot on the ground and then you start to bend your knee over the top of your toes, your foot stays planted. Like I can just even watch my knee now, watch my knee now, watch my knee. It's over my toes. My foot's still planted.
Yeah.
Even further, my foot's still planted. I can keep all those cues and have my knees come over my toes, and I can then stay more upright the further my knees come over my toes.
Yeah.
You actually want to remain more upright. You don't worry about your knees coming over your toes. Worry about, am I staying with my torso really upright? Because that's more important than anything else.
Okay. And in terms of like knee health, is there any dramas with having our knees come over our toes? Is that a problem?
Not that I know of, not that I can think of. If anything, you actually want to promote a lot of movement around your knee, like deep flexion.
Yeah.
It's actually really healthy for the joint.
Okay.
Otherwise, the less movement you give to a joint, a lot of the time, the more it deteriorates over time.
Okay, cool.
And you'll get to 30, 40 years down the track, and your knees won't be that healthy because they'll just be super stiff.
There you go. Well, there you have it, guys. We've gone over the squat cues. We've had it broken down by beautiful Ethan from Strong Anatomy. Thank you for that. And if you guys have got any questions, leave them down in the comments and we'll be more than happy to answer them, either of us. All right. Thank you, guys. Peace out. Move, lift, meditate. Be good.